be so angry right now. I was going through all the updates, all the court documents, and a lot of her motions were denied. Remember, we listened to a hearing that happened a couple weeks ago where there was a motion for a bond request because she said that she was having issues with where she's being incarcerated. She's being bullied by inmates, and apparently, she was trying to get her husband Harvey to send her stuff. That way, she would give it to this other inmate that was apparently threatening her. Now, we don't know if that's true or not, but that is what she alleged, and she testified on the stand. Now, a lot of people weren't really convinced of Donna's testimony. She went up on the stand. She was like shaking a lot, but there were times when she wasn't shaking, depending on what part of the testimony we were in. And then she also requested motion to suppress evidence. There was a phone call that she made with Charlie Adelson. This was shortly after Charlie was convicted. And Charlie hung up the phone call. Donna, on the other hand, forgot to hang up. And so, usually in this jailhouse calls, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, this call is being recorded. It tells you over and over again. However, because Donna didn't hang up the phone, there were portions of her conversations that she had with her friends and I think her attorney as well that were being recorded. And she wanted to have that suppressed. However, we do have a decision from the judge, or actually a couple decisions. But not only that, there's been a lot going on. Wendy Adelson apparently had her deposition taken last weekend. And, I wonder if Wendy Adelson is going to stick to the same story. I wonder if Wendy Adelson is going to ever explain as to why she decided to go to the liquor store that was completely out of her way. There was a liquor store that she was going to in order to, I don't know, she's going to pick up some whiskey or something and then go to an all girlfriends brunch thing. But the route that she took, if you guys haven't seen our previous videos on this case, now definitely check them out, because the route that she took was a very wild one. She could have just taken a direct route to the liquor store and then to the brunch place. However, she went all the way down south to a liquor store somewhere down here. That way, she could pass by Dan Markel's house the day that he was murdered. So did Wendy know what was going to happen, or was it just a fucking coincidence? I don't know. I can't wait to have Wendy testify on the stand again, because when she testified for Charlie's trial, a lot of us had raised eyebrows. We're giving her the side eye when we're looking at Wendy. So let's start off with Catherine Magbanua. If you guys remember Catherine/Katie Magbanua. Oh, before I actually continue, let me just say hi to you guys. Hi, everyone. Hi, Christine. Hi, Paul. Guys, it's good to see you. Hello, hello. Hi, Taxi. I hope you guys had a good weekend. Hi, Jenny. How's it going? We're live on YouTube and on Twitch right now. So I just want to make sure I said hi to you guys. But yeah, speaking of Katie Magbanua, Charlie Adelson, they're all going to be transported from where they are currently incarcerated to somewhere closer to where Donna's having her trial, because they're going to be testifying and they're also taking depositions as well. Now, starting with Katie Magbanua, remember, she is the one that was apparently the person who was like a segue between the Adelson family and the hitmen. Because remember, the hitmen that were hired, well, one of them was her baby fucking daddy. I think she had like 2 kids with him, or maybe 3 kids. It's like, why would you set up your kid's father to do something like this? Anyway, so Katie Magbanua apparently may have said some things to another inmate, and this inmate is now currently incarcerated with Donna Adelson, I think. So we're going to get into a hearing about that. But yeah, we have a lot to cover. We're going to talk about Katie Magbanua. We're going to look at the hearing transcript. Apparently, there's an inmate that maybe will testify for Donna, because, Donna's still going to go with that story saying that it was a setup. Katie is setting us up. We had nothing to do with this. This is blackmail. This is extortion, blah, 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 blah. It's actually really crazy that she's going to continue going with the same story as Charlie Adelson. Charlie Adelson was found guilty. But you know what? Instead of throwing Wendy under the bus, if Wendy's guilty, or maybe throwing Charlie under the bus, say, you know what? It was fucking Charlie. Charlie fucking did. I had nothing to do with it. I hated Dan. I hated his guts. I wanted Wendy to come live with me, but I didn't do anything. I didn't orchestrate anything. I was just being told what Charlie was telling me to do. I don't just start throwing each other under the bus, because I don't think that it's going to be a tough one for Donna. Very, very tough. And I can't wait to watch the trial and then see if there's any new evidence they have against Donna Adelson. So we're going to go over Katie Magbanua. We're going to go over the motions that were denied. So it was a motion to suppress evidence. Again, it was the electronic recording. Was there anything else I think that was it. And then it was a motion to deny, it was a motion for a bond because Donna wants to be out on bond while she waits for a trial. And there was a bunch of other mini stuff, but there's a lot going on with this case. So I just want to update you guys. And let's just do a major, big fucking update today. Let's just do that. Hi, Jess. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Nicole. Hello, hello. How are you doing today? No, you were not ignoring me last stream. I was watching you from the beginning. It's all good. Honestly, I love the way that YouTube does their streams because on Twitch, it's not like a video player. You have to click out into a VOD and then you got to rewind it, blah, 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 blah. But on YouTube, I like how if you want to join late, you can just go to the beginning and then you can just catch up on like 1.5 speed. And then, you know, the chat will be a little bit off, but it's okay. I like the way that YouTube does it. I don't know if Twitch is ever going to change that, but I honestly haven't been on the Twitch platform in a while. So maybe they made some improvements. Maybe they fucking did it. We'll see. But man, I would love to get my hands on the deposition transcript from Wendy. That would be great. Also, like how YouTube saves your lives for longer than 3 months. Wait, how YouTube saves your lives? Oh, no, they keep them like forever. They're on there forever. So when I go live, it stays as a video on my thing. So I don't know. YouTube is a lot. I like it a lot better than Twitch. I will say though, if you're gonna watch, no, even their ads too, because if you don't have YouTube Premium, which you know, I think if you're gonna watch people, YouTube Premium for me is a must. But you know, at least with YouTube Premium, after the ad plays for like 3 seconds, you can skip it. On fucking Twitch, you gotta watch it for like 30 seconds, a minute. Like, oh my god, it's a lot. Anyways, I'm digressing here. So let's jump into this. Let's talk about Katie Magbanua. She's gonna have her deposition taken April 3rd. Now, remember, Katie Magbanua wasn't really willing to testify against the Adelsons. It wasn't until she had her second trial, because she had a first trial, but it was a hung jury. She had a second trial. That's when she was found guilty. And she actually came in to testify. Oh gosh, because I don't know if I watched her testimony, but I had COVID for the first time when Charlie Adelson trial was happening. So I watched like the major parts of it, but not everything. Now, I think it was during Charlie Adelson's trial that she finally decided to testify against him. Maybe the state offered her a deal like, hey, you know, maybe we'll make your conditions a little bit more comfortable, you know, because you're going to be here for the rest of your life and it's going to fucking suck. I don't know. I don't know what offer they might have given her. So she is going to be testifying, it seems like, for Donna Adelson's trial as well. And it seems like even Charlie's going to testify. I wonder if Charlie's going to be like, you know what, Mom, fuck you. I'm going to look after myself. I still got another 60 years. You know, I have a child that was born. I think like his kid is maybe like 5, 6, 7 years old. So Charlie technically has like a whole life still ahead of him. I wonder if he's going to throw his mama under the bus. Maybe he should, you know, maybe he should try to take a deal or something. But, you know, honestly, it's really too late for him because I know he was trying to appeal. I don't know what's going on with the appeal stuff, but he honestly should have just thrown her under the bus. But here's the thing with people like Charlie Adelson, Donna Adelson, people like them, they think they are untouchable. They think that they are above the law. They think they are cunning, convincing. Like Charlie honestly thought that he did a really good job during his testimony. And so when he was found guilty by the jurors, he was, it seems like he was in shock. They were very surprised. Why would Katie ask her baby daddy? He's in a gang. This is normal life for them. But it's just like, come on, like, wouldn't you want change, you know? Aren't you going to think about your kids? It's so short-sighted because now the kids, I don't even know where her kids are with. Maybe they were with her family members or something. But like the kids lost the mom and the dad. For what? For like, what did she get? Like she got a boob job. She got like this crusty old car that was like Harvey's car. Was it like 20 or 30-year-old car or some shit like that? She got, what was it, like $50K afterwards? Like, it's just like not worth it. You're trading all that in. And then you just ruin your kids' lives. Or maybe your kids' lives are better now because, you know, they don't have the two parents around. Maybe it's better. Hi, Bleep. How are you doing today? How's it going? Hello. How are you? All right. So Katie Magbanua has her deposition April 3rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. They're going to be transporting her. There are some other lists of names on here too that I'm not familiar with, but maybe some of you guys are. Maybe there are people that are maybe like detectives or maybe they're friends, family members. I'm not really quite sure. I do see a Francis Magbanua, so maybe obviously a relative to Katie, maybe a brother. All right, so I wanted to read this hearing. It seems like, from what I glazed over, it seems like there is going to be a witness who's going to be willing to testify for Donna. However, this witness may not be potentially a reliable witness due to some, I think, some drug issues that they may have. But apparently they were incarcerated with Katie, and they claim that Katie said some statements that might help Donna's case. Again, Donna's going to go with, oh, it's extortion, you know, we're blackmail, blah, 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 blah. Same thing as Charlie's argument. But let's see. All right. So proceedings, the court. So the court has an amazing deep voice that I can't replicate. So I just want to let you guys know, but we'll do our best reading this. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. State versus Donna Adelson. This is defense's motion to perpetuate testimony. Mr. Zellman. Good morning, Your Honor. The court. Good morning. Mr. Zellman, I think I want to step up there. It doesn't appear that this microphone is working. The court. Go ahead. Mr. Zellman, Joshua Zellman on behalf of Ms. Adelson. Your Honor, we filed an expedited motion to perpetuate testimony concerning anticipated testimony of two potential witnesses. They have been identified in the motion as Cassid Conroy. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. If y'all know how to pronounce that name, let me know. And Brittany Purcell. They've been given statements to Ms. Adelson as well as a temporary investigator that we retained for that purpose. Namely, as I identify in this motion, their testimony concerns statements that were made by Katie Magbanua while she was incarcerated at Leon County Detention Center pending her two trials. The court. Before you continue, Mr. Zellman, why was not all of this actually contained in the pleading itself that you're laying out right now? Mr. Zellman, I didn't want to put everything in the written motion, Your Honor, since it gets played over and over and over in media and podcasts and whatnot. The court. Forget the media. I'm going to the sufficiency of the pleading itself and what the rule requires. Does this pleading meet the requirements of the rule itself? Mr. Zellman, I would say yes, Your Honor. The issue is the rule requires after the filing of the indictment, the defendant or state may apply for an order to perpetuate testimony. The application shall be verified or supported by the affidavits of credible persons that a prospective witness resides beyond the territorial jurisdiction of the court or may be able to attend or be prevented from attending a trial or hearing. The witness testimony is material, and that is necessary to take the deposition to prevent a failure of justice. Your Honor, the statement and the materiality of their anticipated testimony concerns the motives and or the bias of the state witness. Catherine Magbanua anticipated testimony at trial covers those issues. The motive and or bias of the state witness is always going to be relevant and the material for purposes of cross-examination, and certainly concerning the statements that we have at issue here. Oh shit! Oh no! Hold on a second. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to edit this in post because I had the wrong screen up. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was like, wait a second. Why is this not scrolling with me? No. It's okay. You guys were listening in the background anyways, okay? You weren't looking with me. Yeah, note to self, I'm going to have to re-edit this video. I'm going to have to fix that. So I'm reading this transcript here. This is the transcript that I'm reading. I'm sorry, y'all. Doing good. I can confirm the medicine is working. Someone cut me off. Usually I would have been super annoyed the whole day, but I just called them a dumbass and quickly got over it. Oh, man. You watched the latest video. Looked like fun and got some interesting pizzas. Yes. Oh, my God. The pizzas were so good. And, you know, I don't like pizza. I don't fucking like pizza, but like, oh, my God. The pizza there is so good. I hope I can find... I was hoping they would have a chain here in America, but no. Oh, yeah. I'm so sad. The dough is so good. Like, oh, everything is just like perfect over there. You don't think she was ever dating Charlie? It had to look that way. Remember, Katie and baby daddy got in a fight later on. He was still upset by the fake dating Charlie thing for money. I don't know. I mean, I could see them having like maybe some sort of fling thing. That's about it. Maybe something that's like not so serious. I don't know. Oh, yes, the gelato was so good. Oh my gosh. Yes, the gelato. Hello, Kawabanga. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. So this is what I'm reading. Now I lost where was I? Again, so they want them to testify. The attorney for Donna Adelson's like, yes. The witness is going to be relevant and material for purpose of cross-examination, blah, blah, blah. The court, why these individuals cannot be available is really going more to the heart of this. Mr. Zellman, well, Your Honor, the concern that we have is based on their track record over the last X number of years and statements that they made to Ms. Adelson. Our concern is that they will not be available because they will go back to using drugs and will not either potentially not be able to be located or may not be competent to testify, depending on the condition that they are in at the time. Well, that's not good. The issue for the purposes now is that they may be unable to testify. We certainly understand subpart 6 of the rule that no depo shall be used or read into evidence when the attendance of the witness can be procured. We're certainly going to attempt to serve them. We're going to make a good faith basis to get them to be physically present so that we don't have to use their depos for perpetuated testimony at trial. However, in the abundance of caution and to prevent the failure of justice, given the nature of the statements that these women have repeated to us from Ms. Magbanua, we believe that it's appropriate and necessary to attempt to reserve their testimony. There is also a case law out there, Your Honor, that finds it is very ineffective against assistant of counsel not to make this attempt. It is also a reversible error for the court to deny a motion to perpetuate testimony when the anticipated testimony is both admissible and material. The court. All right. As to the issue whether these women will use drugs again, how is this no different than any other person who has a drug-related crime or background in the county jail? Mr. Zellman, I don't necessarily believe that it is, Your Honor, but in my experience, trying to track somebody down who is actively using drugs in order to serve them and to ensure that they're present in court can sometimes be difficult. Yeah, I fucking bet. The court, any evidence that you wish to present in support of the motion? Mr. Zellman, well, aside from what we have, Your Honor, if Your Honor would like to hear from Ms. Adelson concerning the statements that have been made, Ms. Fulford is prepared to conduct a brief direct. The court, very well. Ms. Adelson, please raise your hand. Ms. Adelson was called as a witness, having been first duly sworn, was examined, testified through Zoom as follow. All right. So by Miss Fulford, this is direct examination. So I guess it's another one of her attorneys. I don't know what any of her attorneys' names. Ever since her team of attorneys have been replaced, I only knew Daniel Rashbaum, and I forgot who the other attorney was that was also replaced. Oh, gosh, guys. Okay. So not only was her entire team replaced, there was a private investigator that recently as well, they cannot use him to assist further with Donna Adelson's case. Oh my gosh, Donna must be so fucking pissed. I'm telling you, she's not happy right now. She ain't happy. All right, so direct examination by Ms. Fulford of Donna Adelson. Ms. Adelson, during the course of your incarceration at Leon County Detention Center, have you become aware or familiar with a witness named Cassie Conroy? Ms. Adelson, yes, I have. And during your time incarcerated in an area that is close to Ms. Conroy, who's also incarcerated, have you engaged in discussions with her where she was indicated that during a time she was previously incarcerated, she was also there in close proximity to the state witness, Catherine Magbanua? Yes, she told me that. Okay. And during the course of your conversations, have you learned that Cassie Conroy had an issue with the use of illegal drugs and an addiction problem? Yes, she does. Okay, and speaking with her, have you learned that she's going to be released around midnight this Friday, January 31st? Oh, so they're already released. Or in the early mornings of hours of February 1st, 2025. Yes, that's what she told me, yes. Okay, and based on the conversations that you had with her, based on what she had told you, do you have a concern, in fact, that she will be unavailable to testify in your trial in June? Damn, in June? Oh, it's coming up soon. Based on her prior addiction and her comments that she intends to continue her use of drugs when she's released? Yes. Okay. And during your conversations with Ms. Conroy, has she indicated that while she was incarcerated with Ms. Catherine Magbanua, sorry, I was like getting paranoid. I was like, I'm hoping, here, I was zooming for you guys. I was like, please make sure I'm on the right page. Okay, here we go. In case you guys want to follow with me. Hello, Golf Girl. How are you doing today? Oh, no. Get the notifications on. You know, you can join the Discord too, and you can have the notifications on in Discord. That way you get doubly notifications. I don't know. I hear people talking about that with YouTubes and the unsubbing thing. Hi, Shaban. How are you doing today? How's it going? Hello. Donna talked about converting Deanna's children to Christianity if you dress up in Nazi uniforms. Yeah, I can't wait to see more Donna Adelson emails. Okay, that woman is unhinged. She crazy. Now she's trying to play as like, oh, poor me. I'm just a poor old lady. I don't know any better. Oh my gosh. Poor lady who's being extorted by all these other people. Yeah, Donna's, I'm telling you, Donna, when she testified a couple weeks ago, I was like, dude, she's pretty fucking good. I think she was pretty convincing. Was I convinced? No, I was not convinced, but I think she did a really good job being convincing as she was testifying. So we'll see if the jury buys it. Okay, so where am I? Okay, Attorney, and during your conversation with Ms. Conroy, has she indicated that while she was incarcerated with Katie Magbanua, that Ms. Magbanua provided information to her to the fact that she intended to set up the Adelson family in hopes that she would get a reduced sentence after she was convicted? This is so leading. Ms. Kappelman, objection, leading. Court sustained. This needs to be drawn out as direct questions. Dude, that was like, is it like compound and leading? All right, Ms. Fulford. Thank you, Judge. All right, Ms. Fulford, take your time now. We got 10 pages. Let's go, baby. What statements has Ms. Conroy made to you regarding what Ms. Magbanua has said about her hopes of attaining a reduced sentence? Adelson. She said, wait until I come back. I'm going to take care of that family. Wait till they see that I'm going to get a reduced sentence. Okay, and is it your desire that Ms. Conroy be available to testify at trial regarding the statements that Ms. Magbanua had previously made? Absolutely. Okay, and likewise, have you become familiar while you were incarcerated at the Leon County Detention Center with Miss Brittany Purcell? Yes, I have. And during your discussions with Miss Purcell, did you indicate whether or not she had prior addiction issues? Yes, she has. And based on your conversation with Ms. Purcell, do you know whether she has indicated she continues or intends to continue her use of illegal drugs upon her release? I take an art class at the jail, and she has said it is in the... Wait, what she said now? I take an art class at the jail, and she has said in the art class as well. That's her intention. You know what? I think Donna Adelson and Sarah Boone might do a good job being in art class together. You think they would get along? Okay, and do you know when it is that Ms. Purcell is supposed to be released from the Leon County Detention Center? You know, I think she said early February. I don't know her exact date. I didn't want to question her. Okay, and based on your discussions with her, did Ms. Purcell indicate that she was familiar with Catherine Magbanua from prior incarceration time? Brief pause. Ms. Adelson, please respond. I can't hear. Was a question asked? I didn't hear anything. Please ask the question again. Thank you, Judge. She asks the question again. Donna Adelson says, yes, she did. Okay, and based on your conversation with Ms. Purcell, did she indicate what statements, if any, Ms. Magbanua made to her or in her presence about the Adelson family? Yes, she's made several statements. And what were those statements? She said that she had her plan worked. She would not be here where she is. She would be sitting pretty in Hawaii, drinking a fancy drink. That was one of her statements. Okay, and what other statements did she make about setting up either Charlie or yourself or the Adelson family? Kay, they call her. I called her Katie, but they all refer to her as Kay. I guess that's the name she used when she was here. But they said, Brittany said to her that Kay made it very clear that she was blackmailing Charlie, my son. Okay, all right. Anything further that was said? Yes, I guess I should have been prepared. I didn't know I was going to be asked. I'm just a little nervous right now. But she spoke, she spoke about the tattoo. She spoke about the tattoo that Kay had and about a tattoo that her child's father had of her with the machine gun that he put on his body, of Katie with the machine gun. Sounds like a very interesting tattoo. Would it be your desire that at your trial in June that Ms. Purcell be called as a witness if Ms. Magbanua testifies in this case? Yes, I would like her to be there. Absolutely. And do you have a concern based on her drug addiction and her intention to continue drug use after she is released that she will be unavailable to testify at your trial? Hey, More TV, thank you so much for the tier 2. 81 months. Oh my God. Thank you so much for the resub. I appreciate it. How are you? How's everything in Vegas? Hello. Good to see you all. Yes, good to see you as well, Siobhan. With all the YouTube thing, you subscribe and resubscribe. Sometimes it helps, but you also have to make sure your notification not set to all. Yeah, I have to do my notifications. But what does personalized notifications mean? I never understood what that meant on YouTube. So when there's channels that I follow and I want to get their notifications, I just hit the all button. But what does personalized mean? Is it just like YouTube just thinks you might like this video, and if they think you like the video, then they'll recommend it? Like, how does that work? Hi, Katarina. Hello. How are you doing today? From Perth, Washington. Hello. She just happens to drive by at the time of the murder. Remember, Jeff says she lies naturally, and I think she's really bad at it. I think she's a bad liar. Rip all that money. What do you do with all those Pringles? All right. So, question. And do you have a concern based on her drug addiction and her intention to continue drug use after she is released that she'll be unavailable to testify at your trial? Adelson. Yes, that's my concern. It's a big concern. Ms. Fulford. May I have one? Maybe just a moment. The court. All right, go ahead. They're discussing things off the record. Ms. Fulford. I don't have any additional questions at this time, Judge. Thank you. The court. Ms. Kappelman, Ms. Dugan, any examination? Oh, yes, cross-examination. Let's go, baby. By Ms. Kappelman. Oh, I can't wait to see Ms. Kappelman for the trial. Mrs. Adelson, when did these women make these statements to you in the jail? Well, at different times over the last, Casside, it was back in October. Brittany was after that. Brittany, I think, was around Thanksgiving. I didn't write down a specific date, but it was over the last 2 months or 2.5 months. Wait, you didn't write a specific date? I feel like this is important. You will be documenting everything. Mrs. Kappelman, no further questions. The court, any redirect examination? No, Judge. No, thank you. That will conclude the testimony. Is there any other evidence the defense wishes to present in support of this motion? Mr. Zellman, no, Your Honor. Response from the state? Judge, the state objects to the defense's motion. We do not think they have laid sufficient grounds for a motion to perpetuate. As Your Honor hinted at or pointed out, almost all civilian witnesses in criminal cases engage in high-risk behaviors and may be unavailable in that sense. I don't think this is any different. We have no evidence to suggest that these women are going to be high all the time or unable to be located at the time that they're going to be asked to testify. So I would object on that basis. Secondly, I think, timing-wise, I have an objection. I don't think it's fair to the state to spring these witnesses on us. I learned about them Sunday when the defense's motion was filed. I don't think they've been officially discovered yet, but I learned about them when I got this motion Sunday night. In order to depose these witnesses, presumably, and somehow be prepared to cross-examine them the next 2 business days, I don't think that's sufficient time for me to prepare an adequate cross-examination. By the way, this hearing took place back in January, but they recently, transcribed it for the public. I don't think this was ever on a live stream or anything. I don't remember it. All right, Georgia Captain. I don't think that's sufficient time for me to prepare an adequate cross-examination nor to depose them, as I have a right to do. Prior to conducting that cross-examination or sufficiently investigate them or their stories that I'm just learning today. Because as Your Honor pointed out, the testimony and substance was not even present in the motion itself. So we're all just learning about it today. Yeah, because the attorney for Donna Adelson was like, well, I didn't want to put it in writing because, the news, the media, they're covering this, the podcast. And the judge is like, who fucking cares? All right. So for all those reasons, I would object to moving forward as suggested by the defense. The court. Any further arguments, Mr. Zellman? Mr. Zellman? Nah, just a moment, Your Honor. So now they're discussing off the record. Mr. Zellman, Your Honor, with respect to the rule, contrary to the state's position, the standard is may, it is not will be unavailable. I think Your Honor's concerns expressed at the beginning of the hearing would be spot on if the standards were will be unavailable. However, the rule includes language that says may be unavailable. Now the rule, the judge cuts him off. As to the very point, though, Mr. Zellman, could we not say in nearly every trial someone who is scheduled to testify may be available? Therefore, now this deposition instead of testimony taken under oath during the trial itself? Mr. Zellman. Yes, Your Honor, but there's... Oh, gets cut off by the judge again. An asteroid could hit... Oh, we talk about asteroids now. Okay, let's not talk about asteroids. There's this video that I watched about an asteroid that's supposed to maybe hit Earth in 2032. But anyways, that's digressing. An asteroid could hit Earth. There could be a car crash. There's no extent that could end the maybe unavailables. Mr. Zellman, that's the plain language of the rule, Your Honor. The court. Keep your hand down, Mrs. Adelson. Oh, she's raising her hand up. She's like, let me speak. Let me talk. I want to talk over here. Mr. Zellman. Just because we perpetuate their testimony, there is still a second part of the analysis as to whether or not the perpetuated testimony can be presented in trial. That's in subparagraph 6. We still have to make an attempt to procure their testimony at trial. This is in the event that we're unable to do that. Your Honor, the temporary investigator, it took us some time to find somebody who did not have a conflict. We actually had to go somebody out of town that I've used in the past. She actually works at the federal defender's office in Georgia now. We didn't get her summary of the interviews until she conducted on Friday until Saturday. So over the weekend, we obtained that information, prepared the motion for perpetuation of the testimony on Sunday. I emailed to the state Sunday afternoon, the court. Very well, having reviewed both the rule, and I'm referring to Rule 3.190I, that concerns motions to take the depots to perpetuate testimony, having heard the testimony of Mrs. Adelson today, as to the material nature of this testimony, and also the argument of the parties, I am prepared to rule. Oh, cool. I love it. I love it when they roll. As it concerns the language, may be unavailable to attend or be prevented from attending the trial or hearing Mr. Zellman as it pertains to your argument that it does not well be, but maybe it is well taken. That is the plain language of the rule. I would still say, as I'm interpreting this rule, it still has something that goes beyond what is merely speculative. These witnesses, while they may have used drugs in the past or may use drugs in the future, that does not render them, based on my reading of this, that they are unable to attend or prevented from attending a trial or hearing, or maybe merely because they may use drugs again. If this was a situation where we were dealing with someone such as a military deployment or someone who is dealing with, because I was wondering, what are some situations that would require them to do the perpetuate testimony then? And I like how the judge gets into that so he answers our question. So here are some scenarios where they would do that. If someone was in a situation where they were being deployed for military service, or someone who's dealing with a grave illness or something that is more concrete than just this person may use drugs again in the future, I think would be a little bit more firm footing. This is, as I find it, speculative that because they have used drugs before, may use again, they cannot testify during trial. These witnesses should be subpoenaed by the defense to secure their testimony at a future trial date. Are you allowed to pay people to testify for you? Not experts, but like normal, regular people? Probably not, right? Like, it's like, hey, I'm Donna Adelson. I'm so fucking rich. Come testify for me. I'll give you guys money. I don't know. I just had to have questions. Probably not. If the situation changes where we are no longer dealing with something that is completely speculative, I will readdress the motion. Or like, can you pay for their expenses? Actually, don't. I'm going to look this up. I'm actually very curious. Hi, Madison. How are you doing today? Oh, damn. Nacho's in both chat. Are we working overtime today? Hi, Oahu. Hi, Tuco. Joe. Oh, my God. Joe. Oh, Joe, you're killing me. What does it say? Buon pomeriggio. Corky in chat. How's the pizza over there? In LA, sucks ass. Okay. I need some good Italian pizza. I want to go back to Italy so bad. Can I just teleport there? Can we just have a teleport? Can we just have a teleport thing? Oh, hi, Michelle. How are you doing today? Michelle's like, why are you talking so fast? Okay, I'll try to slow it down a little bit. But I do recommend, if I do talk too fast, you can make it slower on the YouTube player. So the cool thing is, I don't know if you have the... Actually, you know what? I think YouTube rolled out a new feature now where instead of just being stuck at like 1 times speed 1.5, you can actually do like micro adjustments. So if it's too fast for you, you can always slow it down. I like this judge. I've been liking all the judges so far. There's one judge out there that I'm not a huge fan of, and y'all know who she is. But yeah, I like this judge. I love the judge in the Corey Richards case. I love the judge in... Who else is coming up for trial? Corey Richards judge. The Idaho 4 murders. I like the new judge that's been assigned. They can't even clean up the subscriptions easily. I hate the way they did it with the list. Oh, on YouTube. You know what I don't like about the YouTube sub is sometimes if there's a channel that I'm subscribed to, but then if I don't watch like some of their videos for a bit, I will never get recommended their channel ever again, which makes me really sad. Because like sometimes I like to binge watch people's content depending on what kind of content they put out. So I have to actively search for them in order to find them. So that's the one thing that I don't like. What I don't seem so hard is to make the quality and the authentic food in America. Okay, so I just think that like we've got good, we've got good Asian food here. I would say good Asian food, different types of Asian food, and also other like ethnic food here as well. But for pizza, maybe because I'm just new to liking pizza, I usually don't like pizza. I think for pizza, we have our own way of making pizza. And so that's why a lot of people here do like the New York style pizza, the Chicago style pizza. But the pizza that I like in Italy, it's like a Napoli style. Apparently if you're in Italy, they say that like, what makes pizza great here is like the type of like flour that they use and the local water. Apparently that makes a huge difference. Even if you're going from Napoli to Rome, they say that you can't make Napoli pizza in Rome. That's what I heard. But yeah, I don't know. I think I just got to keep looking. I mean, we do have a good pizza place here that I found, but it's like a different style of pizza. It's not like the Napoli style pizza because that one's like, oh, it's so good. I agree. I hate how YouTube just pretends you don't want to see the channels you sub to anymore. Yeah, I don't like that. Because if I don't want to see them anymore, I'll just unsub. That's about it. You have to change yourself for anyone you're perfect. Oh yeah, I mean that's why I like about the YouTube thing, because sometimes when I watch content creators and I'm too impatient, I think they're talking too slow, I'll just speed them up. Or if they're too fast, you can slow them down. I do that too because when I'm falling asleep, I like to listen to people who talk a little bit slower. So I'll take a video and listen at like 0.85 speed. That way it's not too fast for me while I'm falling asleep. Watch, I don't know how, some of you guys watch me on like 1.5 speed or 2 times speed to catch up. I don't know how y'all do that. That's too crazy. All right, let's get back to this. Where were we? So it seems like the court is going to deny the motion to perpetuate the testimony. Speculative. Okay, so let's continue with what the judge was saying. This is, as I find it, speculative. That because they have used drugs before and may use drugs again. They cannot testify during trial. These witnesses should be subpoenaed by the defense to secure their testimony at a future trial date. Wait, I have a question. Who do you think speaks faster, me or lawyer you know? Because he speaks actually pretty fast. I like his speed when I'm watching him. I don't have to speed him up or anything, unless we're doing like court react stuff. But I think he speaks pretty fast, in my opinion. These witnesses should be subpoenaed by the defense to secure their testimony at a future trial date. If the situation changes where we are no longer dealing with something that is completely speculative, I will readdress the motion, but I'm going to deny it. Mr. Zellman, Your Honor, may I just point out that the statements that both of these witnesses have made indicated their intent to continue to use drugs upon their release? The court has made to Mrs. Adelson. However, that does not mean they're going to be unable to attend or prevented from actually showing up for the trial during June 3rd. Mr. Zellman. Yes, sir. Your Honor, may I just have one thing? No, ma'am. Is that Miss Adelson? Did she try to say something? Oh, gosh. Court was like, nope. Eek. Mr. Zellman. Ms. Adelson, if you could just give Ms. Fulford or a call, we can discuss further. The defendant. Oh, Mrs. Adelson keeps on talking. Brittany's homeless. You'll have no way to reach her. She's a homeless person. The court. Ms. Adelson, stop talking. As to the motion for a change of venue, are the parties capable of arguing this today as well? Mr. Zellman. No, Your Honor. The court. Very well. We're in recess. Mr. Zellman. Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, and that concludes. Judge tells her to shut up pretty much. All right, so that is the hearing transcript for this. I think this was back in January, if I remember correctly. Yeah, back in January 29, 2025. So again, just a recap of that. Katie Magbanua was going to have her deposition taken in about a week or two. And apparently, Donna says that she was incarcerated with 2 other women, where they were also incarcerated when Katie Magbanua was at Leon County jailhouse. I don't know the correct name for it. And apparently Katie made statements saying that, she was trying to get back at the Adelsons, that she was trying to testify in order to, have things better for her. And possibly, I don't know if they mentioned like the blackmail thing, but that was basically the effect of that. Because again, it goes to Donna's defense, which is, I'm being extorted, just like my son Charlie. I wasn't involved in the murder of Dan Markell whatsoever. Even though I was making payments to Katie Magbanua and I was writing those fucking checks and she wasn't working in our office. But, we're just paying her. What do you mean? She was our housekeeper on the weekends. No one saw her. Anyways, so there's that. Next one. Deposition of Wendy Adelson. As I mentioned, this has already happened this past weekend. I wonder if there's going to be any new information with Wendy Adelson or if it's going to be the same old thing, going up there to testify saying, I had nothing to do with this. I didn't know anything about the $5,000 or the TVs. I don't know why I took the long way to go to the liquor store. I don't know why I went by Dan Markell's house. And I didn't see anything. There was tape. What do you mean? So I wish we could have a copy of her deposition. But we'll see her testimony in trial again. All right. So what is this? Defendant's motion in limine. So it seems like the state wants to introduce a Exhibit 60, which is called the divorce filing. Remember, there was a divorce that was happening between Wendy Adelson and Dan Markell. And a lot of the times when people are covering this case, it's always like the contentious divorce. They were fighting for custody. It was so contentious that, they were firing at each other back and forth, and it was wild, and Wendy wanted to relocate, but the judge denied it, and then Dan Markell didn't want Donna to be around the children anymore, just by herself, because she was making these statements to the kids, and so they want to include the divorce filing. Now, what I thought was really interesting, and I don't know if you guys saw the community post that I made or the post that I put in the Discord, but apparently, this was what it caught my eye. The false narrative that the divorce was a bitter custody battle. Hold on, let me pop it in my other window. Which I'm saying, So are they saying that the custody battle between Wendy and Dan was not bitter? That it's just all a lie made up by the state and maybe friends and family members? I don't know. Very interesting. So by this motion, Mrs. Adelson moves to exclude and or limit State's Exhibit 60. Additionally, the documents which contain hearsay are inadmissible. The divorce file contains over 560 pages. It is significant that Mrs. Adelson was not a party to the divorce proceedings. I wrote a note here, or was she? I feel like Mrs. Adelson was so involved in her child's life that maybe Dan Markel was also divorcing Donna Adelson as well. Hi, Em. How are you doing today? What trial is this from? So this is Donna Adelson. She's accused of conspiracy to murder, solicitation to murder, and then even I think it's a first degree murder as well. I always forget. Murder, first degree of Dan Markel, who was her former son-in-law. Now, the reason why people believe she did it, the main motive was because she wanted to get rid of this son-in-law, former son-in-law, who she fucking hated. And she wanted to have her daughter and the two grandchildren to move from Tallahassee to where did they live again? It's kind of near Miami. It's like six hours away. So we're covering the Donna Adelson trial. Hi, Leo. How are you doing today? I'm late. It's all good, Leo. Thanks for joining us. And once you get to this part, hello. Am I faster than Laura? Oh, man, I thought Peter was a lot faster. Okay. Donna and Wendy are the queen of gaslighting. Too bad for them. We have moved on to the LEDs. Is that like a TV joke or something? So the divorce files are over 560 pages long, and the only significance the undersigned can fathom is that the state desires to use the size of the divorce files to support their false narrative that divorce was a bitter custody battle. I thought everyone agreed that it was a bitter custody battle because there are emails between Donna and Wendy, and they obviously hated Dan Markel. They despised him. The state has asserted that the statements contained in such filings go to the motive of the defendant then on trial. Although such an argument could overcome the relevancy issue addressed above, the state must still establish their admissibility as either an exception to hearsay or as non-hearsay. Again, this is the defense's motion in limine because they want to exclude the court doc. So we're going to listen to the defense's argument for that. The state of the mind exception to the hearsay rule does not extend to the admission of the divorce file in its entirety. The state of the mind declarant is a subject of the exception in the section blah, blah, blah. It only applies to the declarant's state of mind rather than the state of mind of the defendant. So the declarant, in this case, it's going to be the grandchildren because apparently the grandchildren, there was something that was told by the grandmother. The grandchildren told the dad, and then the dad was like, oh, hell no, she's not talking shit about me while I'm not around. With respect to Mr. Markel's March 26, 2014 counter motion for enforcement, the motion contains 8 specific requests. Only one of these requests apply to Mrs. Adelson. Namely, the motion identifies statements allegedly made by Mrs. Adelson to or in the presence of her 3- and 4-year-old grandchildren. I don't understand. If these statements that she made to the grandchildren were true, who does this? Who brings in 3- and 4-year-olds into this bitter custody battle? Her 3- and 4-year-old grandchildren later allegedly repeated those statements to Mr. Markel. Statements purportedly made by Mrs. Adelson are admissions. However, statements made by her grandsons to Mr. Markel are hearsay. The statements in Mr. Markel's court filings are also hearsay. Section something for statutes requires the proponent of the statement to assert valid exceptions to each level of hearsay to render the statement admissible. With respect to the alleged statements repeated by the 3- and the 4-year-old grandchildren to Mr. Markel and to which Mr. Markel placed in the court file, there are 2 levels of hearsay. The state must overcome the documents for it to be admissible. Even if there is an exception for one level of hearsay, there's no exception for the second level of hearsay. So again, the first level of hearsay is the 3- and the 4-year-old repeating it, and then the second level of hearsay is Dan Markel putting it in the court file. The state has previously argued that Mr. Markel's statements in the court file were not hearsay pursuant to Section 90, blah, 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 Florida statutes, because they're not being admitted for the truth of the matter asserted, but rather it goes to the defendant's motive. Again, Donna wants the grandchildren and wants Wendy to be closer. That way she could pull the puppet strings, she could be controlling, take over. In these such circumstances, statements by Mr. Markel in the counter motion and other filings would not be hearsay to establish Mrs. Adelson's state of mind if the state can establish Mrs. Adelson knew the statements had ever been made. I mean, obviously, Donna Adelson is going to be like, I never made those statements. What are you talking about? How could I have known these statements were ever made if I didn't make those statements? I could totally see Donna doing that. And that's it. So that was filed by the defense on March 10th. I don't think the state has replied to that yet, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. I think we're going to the book next. Are we going to the book yet? No, not yet. Okay, so we have a Patrick Sanford. Again, I don't know who that is. Is this the book? Oh, here's the book. So here's another defendant's motion in limine. So again, if you guys remember, Wendy Adelson wrote a book. This was back in, was it 2012? 2011 maybe? But remember, Dan Markel was murdered in 2014, if I remember correctly. The divorce stuff was happening like 2013. Wendy wrote this book in, where the fuck is it? Maybe 2011, 2012. It'll say somewhere in this document. So anyways, in this book, essentially, the title is, This Is Our Story. That's literally the title. This is our story. And so a lot of people, you know, who read the book or even read the excerpts, they say that, wow, this book kind of sounds like Wendy Adelson. It's a book about an attorney who apparently was not happy with her life. She didn't feel fulfilled. She wasn't happy in the marriage that she was in. And so she decides to pursue, I think like she was helping victims of human trafficking. I think those were her clients. And then through that, she went through a change. And then at the very end, I think she like ended up leaving the husband. Now, if I remember correctly, Dan and Wendy were living in Tallahassee. However, in the book, the fictional place was, what was the fictional place again? Let's see. Let me see. This is our story. Wendy Adelson. It wasn't Tallahassee, but it sounded like Tallahassee. It sounded like a play on word. I think this is Dan Markel's peers talking shit about the book. Wait, let me just bring this over here. Let's see what they wrote about this. Oh, Coral Springs, Florida. Yes, thank you. Coral Springs, Florida. How far is Coral Springs from Coral Springs, Florida to Miami? Pretty close, right? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, just kidding. Wow, I thought they lived so close to Miami. Coral Springs is about an hour away from Miami. Huh. I thought they're really close. Thank you for the correction. I appreciate that. Hey, Dino, how are you? How's it going? Hello. You piqued my interest. I'm all ears. Listen, this story is sort of convoluted because there were a lot of people involved, and there's two hitmen. There's a woman who facilitated the deal between the rich family and the hitman, and then there's the rich family. There's the woman that was married to the victim. There's her brother that has already been convicted for the murder about a year or two ago. And now the grandmother, the mom, is now on trial. And so a lot of people are wondering, well, is the ex-wife, is Wendy Adelson, is she going to be the next target of the state? Or maybe they don't have enough against her. All right, let's see what this says. Boop. This is our story. Back in 2011... The novel was published in 2011, about a year before Adelson walked out on Markel with infant children, the bank account, the furniture, and the Markel family heirlooms in tow. Yeah, so apparently Dan Markel, I think he was on a work trip. He came back to an empty house. No wife, no children. Stuff was gone. No money, no furniture. Nothing. Okay, let's see, do they recap the book though? Oh, do they not recap the book? Am I missing it? You know what's crazy? Dan Markel also was promoting Wendy's book as well. I don't know if he read it though. I think wasn't there an accusation that Wendy or maybe one of the family members threw out that he didn't even read the book. This is our story is an inartful, shallow, cliched, oddly bland, given its human trafficking theme, and terribly self-important. Oh gosh. Hold on, let me see what I can find. This is our story. Wendy Adelson. Summary. This is our story. The mobster grandma. Yeah, that's what they refer to her as. This is our story. I'm not finding good summaries of it. Okay, let's go on Goodreads. Okay, what city is it? City. I'm trying to find the name of the city that this takes place in. It wasn't Tallahassee. It was something that sounded very close to Tallahassee. But a lot of people think that Wendy's contempt for Dan Markel was essentially being written in this book. She was tired of the life that she was in. Okay. I'll find it later. Oh, really? It has good reviews on Amazon? I was going to read it to see if there's any other clues in there. Wendy Adelson. All right, guys, take a sip of water. It's probably still available on Amazon. I'm on Amazon right now. It's like mixed reviews. Some say good, some say bad. Okay, I'm gonna move on because I can't find it. Anyways, there was a city. Oh, Hiawassee. Thank you, Amon. That's what I'm looking for. Hiawassee Springs. I love Corgi-san translate. For me, the summary is so nice. You're welcome, cat. Charlie and Looney are the gifts I keep on giving. Oh gosh, is Looney? Oh, it's in the read sample? Oh, the sample. Oh, you know what? I think I did read the sample, actually. Should we read the book? I mean, listen, I've read Jodi Hildebrand's book. I don't think anything could be worse than that. Jodi Hildebrand's book, it's still around here somewhere. That, I don't think anything could be worse than Jodi Hildebrand's book. We'll see. All right, let's jump back to this. So, Tallahassee Springs, Hiawassee Springs, sounds the same. A lot of people think that Wendy, when she was writing that book, she was basically complaining about the life that she was living. And she wasn't very happy with Dan Markel. So let's go back to reading the defendant's motion in limine. Storyline of Wendy Adelson's book. Donna Adelson renews her request that this honorable court prohibit the state from questioning Wendy Adelson about the storyline of her book, and in support thereof states as follows. 1. Mrs. Adelson has been indicted on this case with 1 count of first-degree murder, 1 count of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and 1 count of solicitation of first-degree murder. 2. Prior defense counsel moved to prohibit the state from questioning Wendy Adelson about the storyline of her book. This is our story. On September 6, 2024, the court denied this prong of August 12, 2024 motion in limine, ruling that the state could use the storyline for purposes of impeachment. Current counsel renews this motion of limine as additional facts were not previously known and or addressed. During August 30th, 2024 hearing, the state argued, I think in reference to the book, this is the one I kind of flip-flopped on because I went back and looked at how it came up last time, which was that Wendy Adelson denied wanting to relocate, denied being disappointed about losing her motions in court to relocate. And that is, of course, the state's theory, as the main motive behind the crime was that she was wanting to relocate to South Florida. And I have thought at the time that testimony opened the door to her having written a clearly autobiographical book about a woman just like herself, married to a man just like Dan Markel, who's utterly miserable and stuck in the place that she's living in. So if the testimony goes that way this time, I can imagine a scenario where I might just want to ask about that. Hey, Go Lucky, how are you? Yeah, they basically assassinated him when he was in his driveway in his Prius. He was on the phone with his friend and his friend heard it. Go Lucky, thank you so much for the reset for 27 months. How are you, Go Lucky? Hello, hello. The allergies, guys. It's allergy season. Yeah, Mace, I was just thinking about that too. I am kind of curious about that book. Not gonna lie. Has anyone read it before? I see you on YouTube's. Hi, Shaniko. How are you doing today? How's it going? All right. So the petition for dissolution of marriage was filed on September 10th, 2012. The motion for temporary relocation, an amended petition adding the court for relocation, was filed on January 14, 2013. The petition for relocation was denied on June 18, 2023. So Wendy wanted to move closer to where her parents were with the two children, and that was denied by the court because Dan Markel was living in Tallahassee. He would have to drive 6 hours in order to see his children. The evidence established that Miss Adelson's book was originally published on September 15, 2011. Even assuming the storyline in Mrs. Adelson's book is autobiographical, how Miss Adelson felt about being stuck in Tallahassee at the time she wrote the book is not relevant to how she felt after her petition for relocation was denied or during the time of the alleged conspiracy. Presumably, Miss Adelson did not start writing this book in September 2011. Rather, it is significantly more logical that Miss Adelson wrote this book over a period of time which was concluded in September 2011, making it even more remote in the time into the denial of her petition for relocation. As a result, if it does not even survive on Section 90.403 Florida Statute, analysis as its probative value is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice, confusion of issues, or misleading the jury. Do you guys remember there was this author who wrote a book about murdering her husband, and then she actually did murder her husband? She was on trial for murdering her husband. Now, I think the state wanted to use the book against her, but they were unable to do so. I would assume the same would probably apply here, even though there was a lot of similarities between the book. I think they can still say that, oh, this is not a book that I wrote about my life. This is a fictional book. What are you talking about? So again, I think we don't have the state's argument yet because this was filed a couple days ago. Waiting for the state to reply. Robert Tells. Is he the guy who... Was that the Vegas one? I think he testified during his own trial, accused of murdering someone, and was maybe caught on surveillance, maybe? Oh no, I'm fighting for my life at work right now. Hopefully I'll keep my eyes open listening to you. Oh no, don't fall asleep at work. Speaking of allergies, I had to take the dog to take a shot because, she was super itchy, allergies. Oh my gosh. So Shiro went to go take his, do his yearly senior wellness check, and they did find a parasite. Good thing we gave a fecal sample. So he's low in potassium for some reason, and they found a parasite. So I gotta go back to the vet and get some meds for that. All right. So we'll wait for the state to reply on that. What else do we got here? Charlie Adelson is going to have his deposition taken in April 28, 2025. I want to know if Charlie's going to change his story. Do you guys think Charlie's going to turn against his mom? You think Charlie's going to give a different story? What do you think Charlie's going to do? I don't, because he's in the appeal process right now. Right? I think he still is. I don't know if it really helps for him to really change his story. I feel like it's too late. I don't know. Donna should. Donna should totally change her story. All right, so here are the orders denying Donna's motions. And I'm telling you, Donna's not happy. Things are not going Donna's way at all. Hi, Lord, how are you doing today? I know, my mom made me do it. It was my mom. She's crazy. She's controlling. That's right. It was a reporter. He did create a narcissist. He killed a reporter for reporting bad things about him. Yes, okay. Robert tells the victim was the reporter exposing his corruption. What was he sentenced yet? What did he get? Sarah and Tells in the same cell. Okay, so order denying defendant's motion to suppress. Again, Donna wanted to have evidence suppressed. It was a phone call that she made to Charlie, and it continued recording, and Donna forgot to hang up the fucking phone. All right, here's some background. November 7, 2023, defendant Donna Adelson received a phone call from Charlie Adelson on her cell phone while she was at home in her apartment. I'll zoom in for you guys. I'm sorry. The caller was her son, Charlie. At the time, Charlie was an inmate of the Leon County Jail, incarcerated there since his arrest on April 21, 2022. One day prior to the phone call at issue, Charlie Adelson was convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation to commit murder. Before being permitted to speak with her son, defendant was required to acknowledge the following message and consent to its terms. The message disclosed. Hello, this is a prepaid call from Charlie, an incarcerated individual at Leon County Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this call should be private, please hang up and follow facility instructions. To register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to the recorded call, press 1. To repeat, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now. This preamble is a standard notification advising individuals who receive phone calls from the jail that the calls will be recorded. Thus, to speak with a Leon County Jail inmate through this phone system, the non-inmate must give consent to being recorded unless it is a private call. Defendant concedes that she was informed of this notification when she consented to speak with her son on the recorded line. Now, approximately 8 minutes into the phone call, Charlie was disconnected, leaving only defendant's phone still being recorded by the phone system. At that point, defendant says, "Can you hear me? Charlie? Shit, you can't hear me again, right, Charlie? Charlie, can you hear me? I'm sorry. The fourth time that they cut each time." Exhibit 5. She then began a lengthy conversation with the other people who were inside of her home. Given that defendant was conversing with people other than her son, referring to her son as he and him while talking about him, and revealing the facts that she did not have the heart to tell him, the court is convinced defendant subjectively believed her shared phone call had ended and had ensuing conversations private. Subsequently, dude, over the next 15 minutes, oh my God, Donna. Subsequently, over the next 15 minutes, defendant alluded to committing professed that she was looking for countries that did not have extradition agreements with the U.S., wondered whether Vietnam had an extradition agreement with the U.S., and spoke about a conversation she had with her daughter, Wendy Adelson, about giving her papers and wills. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Eventually, someone other than defendant realized the phone call had yet to end and ended the call. It was only at this point that the phone call terminated. The recording stopped. Investigator Jason Newland testified this is standard protocol for phone calls originating from Leon County Jail. Okay, so who was Donna with? We're about to drop some names. Those people were her husband, her attorney for her estate planning, Susan Brotman, and Miss Brotman's husband, Richard Chagrin. Defendant testified that Mr. Chagrin is not an attorney. While the issue of privilege is not raised through this motion, a recognized privilege can be waived by voluntary disclosure or consent. Oh boy. Defendant argues that it was unlawful warrantless interception to record her conversation after Charlie Adelson was disconnected because she believed the phone call, the recording had ended. Oh my God. Dada. Oh man. No, it's fine. We can talk about other cases in the chat. I'm okay with like side tangents in the conversations. It depends on like if you guys are talking about like other cases, I don't mind that. All right, analysis. Before a trial court will consider the merits of a Fourth Amendment motion to suppress, the defendant must establish a factual basis justifying his or her claim to possess a Fourth Amendment right at the time of the alleged invasion. Regarding oral communications, for an oral conversation to be protected under Section 934.03, the speaker must have an actual subjective expectation of privacy, along with societal recognition that the expectation is reasonable. Listen, if you forget to hang up the fucking phone call, that's on you. That is on you. Defendant argued in her written motion that the state bears the burden of justifying its alleged warrantless interception and moved to suppress the oral communication she uttered after Charlie was disconnected from the phone call. However, the written motion misstated the burden of proof because Fourth Amendment search does not occur even when the explicitly protected location of a house is concerned, unless the individual manifested a subjective expectation of privacy in the object of the challenged search, and society is willing to recognize that expectation is reasonable. As a result, it is the defendant who must first establish a search occurred within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment. See some case laws. Therefore, to support suppression of a communication under a wiretap law, the person who made the statements must show more than a subjective expectation of privacy. They must show that they have a reasonable expectation of privacy under the circumstances, which depends on one's actual subjective expectation of privacy, as well as whether society is prepared to recognize that expectation is reasonable. Because the court concluded the defendant did subjectively expect her conversation was private, this motion turns on whether society is prepared or willing to recognize each subjective expectation as reasonable. After concluding a thorough analysis, the court has determined the defendant's conversation did not constitute the unlawful interception of an oral communication under Section 934.06 Florida statutes. Oh, man. Reasonable security measures of Leon County Jail. To ascertain whether society is prepared or willing to recognize the defendant's subjective expectation of privacy as reasonable, the court begins with a well-established principle that citizens are guaranteed a reasonable expectation of privacy in their own homes. Yeah, but however, it's like this call was recorded and then you forget to hang up. Sucks, Donna. Sucks. It's like, yeah, the call was made in your house, but there are issues. You forgot to hang up the phone. All right, so the defendant relinquished her reasonable expectation of privacy when she answered her phone and consented to speak with her son. Defendant argues that she regained a reasonable expectation of privacy previously relinquished through consent once her son was disconnected, but she did not actually terminate the phone call from her end. During the hearing, the state contended that the primary basis for denying defendant's motion to suppress was that it did not intentionally record the defendant's conversation. The court disagreed. The Leon County Jail intentionally utilizes technology developed by the company Securus that, by design, continues to record conversations between inmates, call recipients, until both parties disconnect. If the decision to record prior to the inmate's disconnect is intentional, as the state arguments concede, it stands to reason the decision to record after the inmate is disconnected is also intentional. However, in determining whether expectation of privacy is reasonable, the court should examine the location of the conversation, the type of the communication issue, and the manner in which the communication was made. Although the location of the defendant's conversation occurred within her home after her son was disconnected, the fact remains she consented to receiving a phone call from jail facility. The type and manner of the communication are also quite different from ordinary phone calls. This phone call, 1, began with message stating that it was not private. 2, requiring acknowledgement that it was recorded. So you press 1, which is what she did. 3, required consent to proceed and utilize third-party technology to facilitate recordings between inmates and non-inmates. This defense wrote a book. No, Donna Adelson didn't, but her daughter Wendy Adelson did write a book. And they're trying to suggest that she wasn't happy with where she was living. She wasn't happy with the marriage. And, it can go towards as to why there was a motive of her wanting to leave Dan Markel, which eventually led to Dan Markel being murdered. But at this point, Wendy Adelson has not been charged. Even if many modern cellular phone devices typically terminate a phone call when one party disconnected, as defendant stresses, communications from jails and correctional facilities have a unique institutional safety concerns that are not at issue in common communications between non-inmates. Thus, defendant's subjective expectation was built on a false assumption that drop calls involving the Leon County Jail have the same results as drop calls involving at least one cellular phone. This assumption is unreasonable given the concerns correctional institutions and jails encounter. We talk about a federal court of appeals, some other cases. Let's sort of hop onto the Donna stuff. Loopholes. Federal courts have opined. Defendant's subjective expectation conflicts with her own knowledge. Ooh, tell us more. Charlie was arrested April 21st, 2022. The portion of the conversation defendant seeks to suppress occurred on November 7, 2023. That period spans a difference of 565 days. Based on the sheer volume of calls between the defendant and Charlie Adelson, she cannot reasonably claim to be unfamiliar with how the Leon County Jail facilitates phone calls from inmates. Oh, gosh. This asserted subjective expectation became less and less reasonable with each time she answered a phone call from the jail, consenting to recorded calls until both parties are disconnected. She cannot even claim to be unfamiliar with what transpires at Leon County inmate's phone is disconnected because she is heard acknowledging on November 7, 2023, recording that her son had been disconnected for the 4th time. Defendant testified her son was frequently disconnected during the phone calls he made from the Leon County Jail. During these other instances, defendant answered she would ordinarily hang up after the phone after he was disconnected. Hang up the phone after he was disconnected, suggesting she realized she needed to hang up the phone to end or terminate the calls. Yep. Thus, rather than expecting her phone would automatically disconnect, her own testimony reflects that she was aware that calls from Leon County Jail would continue unless she hangs up her phone. Oh boy. Expecting an opposite result or outcome for what has taken previously or repeatedly is an expectation society is unwilling and unprepared to recognize as unreasonable. Conclusion. For these reasons, the court cannot conclude society is prepared to recognize a reasonable defendant's subjective expectation of privacy in the November 7, 2023 phone call. 1. The phone call was received from a jail or correctional facility with a valid interest in preserving security by continuing to record phone calls until both parties of the call have disconnected their phones. 2. Defendant's subjective expectation was contrary to her familiarity with the jail phone technology and prior user-based knowledge. 3. Expecting different outcomes or opposite results from what has repeatedly occurred is intrinsically unreasonable. It is ordered in a judge in bold in caps. The defendant's motion to suppress is hereby denied. I wonder if Donna remembered to hang up the fucking phone. I wonder if they wouldn't have been able to catch her at the airport. Would she have been able to leave and go to Vietnam? Man, she really screwed herself over. Lady, how are you doing today? Hi, lady. How's it going? Charlie's jail calls crack me up. He can't shut the fuck up. I usually love listening to jailhouse calls because there's so many between Charlie and the mom. It was just too many. It was too many. Too many. All right, so denied. Let's go to the next one. What else gets denied? Ah, that's right. So Donna wanted to be out on bond. Again, Donna talks about how she has had some very unfortunate incidents with other people that are incarcerated. There was one woman who like ran her fingers down Donna's spine while they were like showering. There was another woman who, I think Donna was brushing her teeth. She grabbed Donna's arm, yanked it up backwards. It hurt a lot. And the woman said that, okay, from now on, you're going to give me commissary. And Donna apparently said that she was going to. Now, I do have questions about the commissary thing because apparently she didn't tell Harvey why she wanted commissary. She told Harvey she wanted commissary because the food fucking sucks and it's like disgusting. So I wonder, what if she did want commissary or extra commissary because the food was disgusting, and then later on she like retrofitted to a story that could benefit her? I don't know. I just think about stuff like this because Donna is just a very manipulative person. I feel like it's hard to take her at face value. Like she's always up to something, but you know, maybe something did happen to her while she's being incarcerated. So anyways, she was saying that, you know, she's being bullied by these girls. She had to give them commissary. She mentioned how the mattress was uncomfortable, how she has, you know, she's got like back issues or something, or I forgot what it was specifically. I knew what condition that she had. I forgot what it was, but she had a hard time sleeping at the jailhouse because of like the times that she has to take the medication and it's like really loud. She can't get good sleep. She's like on like barely any hours of sleep. The food sucks. And she has like these like issues with earwax that builds up, and apparently she has a hard time hearing the guards. They think that she's disobeying them, and she needs to have a special ENT that flushes her delicate little ear canals every 3 to 4 months. She can't get that in jail. There's a lot of stuff that Donna's just having issues with, and you know, being in jail, yeah, it probably fucking sucks. Anyways, so let's get to the judge has denied the motion for the bond slash to set the bond slash Arthur hearing. So Donna was like, you know, jail fucking sucks. I want to be out on bond, and I want to be, you know, monitored. I want to be in my safe comfort home. You know, I think maybe Harvey relocated somewhere closer to where Donna's being held, because again, this all happened in Tallahassee, which is about 6 hours away from where Donna and Harvey normally live. So I think Harvey did buy somewhere or is living somewhere that's closer. That way he'd be close to Donna, or like maybe gets to visit her. I'm not quite sure. But Donna was like, I'm not a flight risk. What are you talking about? I mean, so what that you picked me up at the airport? I was on the way to Vietnam, one-way ticket, you know, non-extradition country. So fucking what? I'm not at flight risk? What do you mean? Y'all took my passport away. You know, there's no way I can leave the country. There's no way I can run away. So Donna wants to be out on bond, but of course that has been denied. All right, so defendant sought review of her bail status based upon State v. Arthur. The court has reviewed the evidence admitted during the February 26, 2025 hearing, the arguments of the parties, the court file, and being otherwise fully advised in the premises, finds, and the judges as follow. By the way, if you guys have not seen the hearing that took place a couple weeks ago, it was very interesting. It covered so much stuff. So basically, we're looking at all the documents now that pertain to it. So if you guys haven't already, we should have a Donna Adelson playlist that should have that. I don't know. I think I should start including the live streams on there too, because sometimes I don't always chop up the live streams. So maybe I should start throwing the live streams in there. I might have to. Oh, I do want to read Ruth's book. Yes. I think when Ruth's book first came out on Amazon, it was like $40 or something like that. But yes, I do want to read the Ruth's book. The Unveiling. Because I have this app where you can get books from the library. But yeah, I'm down to read Ruth's book. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, so right now on Amazon, it's like $23, $6.99 delivery. I'll see if they have it on Thrift Books. Maybe I can buy like a used copy or something. But yeah, I want to read Ruth's book. But if I read, I mean, I also wanted to read Wendy's book as well. Just for the shits and giggles, you know? Like, if I can get through Jodie Hildebrand's book, we can get through Wendy's book, right? Stephen Stearns. Oh, God, I fucking hate Stephen Stearns. I hate Stephen Stearns. I hate Jen Soto so much. That case makes me so angry. Isn't he having his trial this summer, too? God, that case, like, irritates the shit out of me. Yes, I actually have YouTube shorts. Donna was on Wheel of Fortune. Wendy was on... Fuck was she? She was on like some game show too. And we have... What's the other woman? Oh, Lori Vallow? Wasn't Lori also on a game show type of thing? Sarah Boone. Like, they're all on these game shows, man. I just spit. Of course, she's on... She's not a flight risk. What are you talking about? She had a flight risk. She didn't mention she eats way too much commissary. I go live once a week. Once a week at least, at a minimum. Unless there's like a bunch of stuff that I have to cover. But yeah, I do go live once a week. Join the Discord. I put the notifications on Discord all the time. And then for YouTube, you just have to have the notifications on for, I guess, all. I don't know what personalized means. But yeah, there's two ways you can get notifications if you like. You hope they arrest Jen Soto one day. From what I've heard, they gave her... I think Jen Soto got what Wendy Adelson got, which is... Fuck, what's it called again? Something immunity. Jeez, what did Jen get again? Something immunity. Oh, derivative immunity. Yeah. So, I mean, technically, it's like what they give you, anything Jen Soto and Wendy Adelson says can't be used against them and can't be the genesis of an investigation into them or leading to other things surrounding them. That's a really bad way of explaining it. I'm sure there's a better way. So, for example, with Wendy Adelson, right? If Wendy Adelson says something and that's like, oh, huh, maybe we can use this against you. And then it leads to like a whole investigative thing where they end up finding that Wendy was maybe guilty, right? If it all started from Wendy's statement when she was given like derivative immunity, they can't use it against her, if I remember correctly. However, if the state happens to just on their own was able to come across some incriminating shit about Wendy Adelson, then they can use it against her. But they can't use the statements that Wendy made against her and then use that as an investigative thing to ultimately find her like guilty. Diplomatic immunity? No? Oh, man. Hey, Bobby, how are you doing today? I'll recap what we talked about so far. So far, Jesus, let's see if I remember. What was the recap? Oh, gosh, we've recapped a lot of stuff. So Wendy Adelson had her deposition last weekend. Catherine Magbanua and Charlie Adelson is going to have their depositions within the next couple weeks. Catherine Magbanua apparently made some statements to 2 other inmates at Leon County where Donna's being held at. And the statements had to do with maybe Katie setting up the Adelsons in order to be given a better deal or something like that. And so they want to bring those witnesses in to testify at Donna's trial. However, there was issues because those 2 witnesses apparently may have some drug issues, and the defense was afraid that they were going to come in and testify. So we read the hearing transcript for that. And then Donna doesn't want to have the divorce filings in the divorce. Sorry, Donna doesn't want to have Wendy and Dan Markel's divorce filings in the trial. She thinks they're very prejudicial and they're like double hearsay. Also, apparently, she claims that maybe the divorce between Wendy and Dan Markel was not. What was the exact term? It wasn't not contentious, but it was a different term, which we don't believe, because it seems like the divorce was bitter custody battle. Yeah, bitter custody battle. Apparently, that's a lie. And now we're talking about there's a storyline in Wendy's book that Donna doesn't want to be brought up when they're questioning Wendy on the trial. And then what document are we at? Charlie's doing his deposition, which I think I already said. Donna had 2 of her motions denied. One of the motion is the motion to suppress evidence with the call that she had with Charlie, but the call didn't drop. She continued yapping in the background, and that's how I think they were able to get her in the airport. Second thing that we're going over right now is the other thing that, where are we at right now? Oh, that's right. So Donna wanted to be out on bail. Donna wanted to be out on bond while the trial is going to happen, while she waits for trial to happen in June. So that's where we're at. But if you want to get to all the fine details and all that, you're going to have to rewind and maybe like speed up and listen to that. All right, y'all. Here we go. And then I got sidetracked because we're talking about Jen Soto and we're talking about Wendy Adelson. They were both given derivative immunity. And I was just yapping about that real quick. Hi, Full Truth. How are you doing? How are you doing today? You find Stearns hard to watch? Ugh, I just hate seeing his face. I hate seeing his fucking face. Anyways, so yeah, Bobby, that's and we're still covering the rest of it. But she got some major motions denied, so she is not a happy person right now, I would assume. All right, so order denying the motion to set bond / the Arthur hearing. Defendant is charged by indictment with a qualifying offense, first-degree murder. The state has come forward with a showing that the proof of guilt is evident or the presumption is great. The evidence from Charlie Adelson's trial, viewed the light most favorable to the state, demonstrates that 1, defendant's personal and unique motive to assist, cause, or encourage the murder of Dan Markel. 2, the lengths defendant was willing to go into custody battle involving her grandchildren. 3, testimony by Catherine Magbanua directly implicating the role of the defendant in the payment of the murder for hire. Again, Katie Magbanua said, well, the money I got was washed. Someone literally washed the fucking money. And usually washing the money, if you guys ever watch Ozark, washing the money is like taking money that was made illegally and then like putting it into the system where it's like into your legit businesses. But Donna literally just washed the money. She literally washed the money because she didn't want, I guess, her DNA or something on there. But anyways, number 4, payments made by the defendant to alleged co-conspirators following the murder. 5, text messages, cell tower analysis demonstrating defendant's movements on the night of the murder. And 6, defendant's conduct after law enforcement bump operation. Man, they didn't have so much evidence against Donna. Oh, Donna, you're so screwed. Defendant also exhibited a conscience of guilt when she attempted to flee to Vietnam prior to arrest using an emergency fast-track visa. This evidence of flight is admissible as consciousness of guilt where sufficient evidence exists to establish the defendant fled to avoid prosecution. Also, again, guys, you guys haven't listened to the prior hearing. Listen to the prior hearing. It was very interesting because they also got into, I think, the WhatsApp messages between Donna and the person that was trying to do like the fast-track visa thing for Vietnam. Like, Donna was like, I need this now. Give it to me now. And she's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. After the state meets its burden regarding Arthur, the court still retains the discretion to grant or deny bail. When determining the issue, the burden is on the accused to demonstrate that release is appropriate. It is with regard to this question that consideration of the likelihood that the accused will flee, regardless of the sureties required, becomes appropriate. In reviewing the evidence admitted during the hearing and applying the bail criteria of the Florida statutes, the court finds that one of the primary considerations of bail, ensuring the appearance of the criminal defendant at subsequent proceedings, cannot be met. One day after Charlie Adelson was convicted of first-degree murder and other crimes, the defendant discussed fleeing to countries without extradition to the United States. And it's crazy because when I initially heard about Donna discussing fleeing, Donna maybe ending herself, Donna trying to go to a country with no extradition, and what else was there? Was that it? I thought she was just being really dumb and just told Charlie on the phone call because she was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. But I didn't know it was because she forgot to hang up the goddamn phone call and it was recording everything. That same day, defendant communicated with Vietnam Visa Indochina Sun Travel through what she believed was a secure communication application, WhatsApp. Trying to acquire a fast-track emergency visa for Vietnam. Wanted it the fastest she can get it. The purchase of a one-way ticket. I don't like. She bought a one-way ticket. What, you couldn't even pretend like you were gonna come back? Like, you could at least, I know round trip is more expensive, Donna, but Donna's trying to be cheap, okay? Donna, you should at least bought a round trip. Like, round trip, just be like, hey, I'm planning on coming back. But she bought a one-way ticket. Her and Harvey bought a one-way ticket. Seeking a fast-track visa for extended stay in a country without extradition clearly demonstrates an intent to flee. The court does not find the testimony offered by the defendant during the evidentiary hearing on this subject to be credible considering the evidence. Additionally, defendant's discussions of self-harm further negate the possibility of appearance for subsequent proceedings as directed by the court. Oh no. Man, I don't know if Donna expected that to be used against her. The issues raised by the defendant concerning her conditions of confinement can be addressed directly through administrative and/or civil remedies. The testimony and evidence during the hearing clarify the reasonable measures taken by the sheriff's office to address the defendant's concerns. Defendant is not being denied access to counsel or opportunity to prepare for a trial. Yeah, because Donna claims that she was having issues with other inmates, and then when the jail found out, they basically put Donna in what's that word? What's the word I'm looking for? When you're kind of like by yourself, you know? Oh, hey, Palermo. How's it going? How are you doing today? How's it going? Oh, Dragon Quest. Interesting. What Dragon Quest are they on now? There's another word for that. Yeah, solitary confinement. Okay, that's what she was alleging. She's like, yeah, like, I'm getting punished and I'm being put in solitary confinement now. But they were like, well, is it quieter there? She's like, yeah. Okay, so you could probably sleep better there. And then they were saying that, oh, well, now, because she was complaining that she didn't have privacy because there was other inmates looking over her shoulders and stuff like that. And they're like, well, now do you have your own space to work on your legal stuff? And she's like, yeah. They're like, okay, cool, then you're fine then. All right, so what else we got here? The issues raised by the defendant, blah, 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 blah. Defendant's not being denied access to counsel with the opportunity to prepare for a trial. The court also notes the defendant has undergone extensive trial preparation prior to the continuance of the trial on September 17, 2024 through the present. So sorry, Donna, you are not going to be out on bond. You're not going to be out with Harvey. And Donna, the incriminating evidence, the phone record, it's going to be, they're not going to suppress it. Donna's not having a good day. What do we have for this? Defendant's supplement memorandum of law in support of defendant's motion to suppress. I think this was filed after the judge's order. I was a little confused about this, but I don't think we need to read this because this is basically just the defense. They're talking about like other cases and how it supports their argument. And then here's a bunch of other stuff. But the judge already denied it. Was this filed before? Maybe I don't have the timeline correctly. Okay, so that's a lot for Donna. I hope I have covered everything. That's Donna right there. Donna's not happy. If you look at my thumbnail, it's motion denied, 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 denied. Donna's not a happy person right now. Now, we have to wait for the state's reply to see whether or not they're going to allow the storyline of... Oh, sorry. The state's reply for their argument about Wendy's book, if, why the storyline should be included when they're trying to question Wendy. And then we'll wait for the judge to make his decision. And then the other one was the divorce filings. Donna doesn't want the 560 pages divorce filings of Dan Markel and Wendy to be included as an exhibit. The state was saying that, it goes to the motive of Donna Adelson, and it's because she hates Dan Markel. Dan Markel didn't want her to be around the grandchildren by herself because she was saying all these things. I forgot what the statements were exactly. I remember there's something about like her calling the children sunshines or sunflowers or something like that, and how their daddy was like big stupid or something silly like that. Kids will definitely out you if you say something like stupid daddy. Yep. Kids will repeat. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know what's interesting? Charlie testified about that. Charlie's like, I have a 5-year-old. And 5-year-olds, they don't know what they're talking about. You know, they don't know. They don't know. They don't know how to repeat things. It's like 5-year-olds. Yeah, they do. I've seen like 2-year-olds. You know, something happens at daycare, they come back and they say the same thing. You're like, where'd you hear that from? But I do remember Charlie trying to testify, saying like, "Oh, my 5-year-old, you know, he doesn't know blah 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 blah." No one cares, Charlie. Fuck off. Oh wait, Virtus. Yes, Virtus. Okay, Virtus got it. What cracked me up is Charlie in his trial said the kids didn't say it. There were 3 and 4. They don't talk like that. My 3 and 4-year-olds would definitely say, yeah. I think he said it was like his 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. Hey, Virtus, how are you doing today? I think she's actually in the medical ward, was essentially the same thing. Is she in the medical ward? I thought she was like in like the isolation area. Or I don't know. She said it was like a solitary confinement. Donna made sure that there would not be kosher food at Dan and Wendy's winning, but I would bet good fucking money the first thing she did in jail was to demand that she would get exclusively kosher food. Possibly. That's what Letitia was trying to do, right? Kosher food, because it was kind of healthier for you than the normal jail food. Oh man, I wonder what Letitia's up to. We haven't heard about Letitia in a while. I wonder if she's still constipated. Oh boy. All right, y'all. What else we got here? I think that's pretty much it that I got for Donna. Donna. What do we have for scheduling purposes for Miss Donna Adelson? Let's see. Donna Adelson. What do we got? Jury trial, June 3rd. Case management is tomorrow. Tomorrow, case management. But Donna Adelson, do they... Oh, no, they do live stream it, right? The one that's not live streaming is the Corey Richards one. Oh, gosh. Can they just live stream it? So I think tomorrow we'll get to see Donna Adelson tomorrow, maybe? Possibly? Motion hearing, we've already seen that. Okay, so we are ready for Donna Adelson tomorrow. Case management. Oh, boy. All right, guys. The Frisky Prince out there. Yes, the Frisky Princess. Toddlers are the embodiment of unfiltered. Mm-hmm. You're cutting out your subscriptions the moment you cancel Netflix and Hulu for now. What are you trying to rewatch? Oh, you know what I started? I started Severance. Dude, Severance is a mind trip. It's crazy. Hi, good guy. How are you doing today? Peacock is free with my internet. Prime Video comes with the Prime. Nothing else to really sub to. Yeah, because it stacks up. Oh my God, it stacks up. I'm paying for ChatGPT right now. Oh my God, that's probably my most expensive sub that I have. Oh, you're trying to start One Piece? Oh, man, I love One Piece. I haven't gotten back into it, but yeah, One Piece is good. I would just say, though, One Piece, it gets good at like episode 200. Good luck. It takes a while to build out the world, you know, and get into the characters. But once it's all set, like, oh my God, it's so good. Did I call Quirky Allie? Allie, have you seen Trigun? Oh my God. Deadhead? Trigun's really good. I love Trigun. Trigun's amazing. All right, y'all. So that's what we got for Donna Adelson. If you guys miss any parts of the stream today, go back, rewind it. Feel free to watch the whole thing. However, if you just want me to have like chapters and have it all organized, I will edit this video out for you guys. And then that way you can watch it more cleaned up version, I guess. You know, I usually take out a lot of the banter between me and the chat. And then also, you know, if you think I'm talking too fast in the video, you can click on the cog, you can slow the video down to your liking. And I think YouTube makes it so you can do it in like little increments now. So rather than doing it by increments of, I think like 0.25 or 0.5, you can do like micro increments now, which it's really cool. But I don't know if that's like a mobile thing or if that's like a Chrome thing. I'm not quite sure. But I certainly like to use it. Or actually, maybe I'm getting it mixed up with my audiobooks. Yeah, you just have to listen to me at like negative 0.75. You love Severance. Alice in Borderland is amazing. Hi, Trial TV. How are you doing today? How's it going? I saw you during the replay of, was it the Karen Reed stuff? Yeah, I think it was the Karen Reed hearing. Oh my God, Karen Reed stuff is getting spicy. Can't believe the trial's happening. Yeah, Severance has been really good. I just finished season 1. And then Alice in Borderland. Man, I can't get into season 2. I mean, I know there's that naked guy running around and stuff like that, but like, I just can't get into season 2. Can't get into season 2. What is Alice on? Alice in Borderland is on Netflix. I would say Alice in Borderland came out before Squid Games, and then Squid Games is kind of the Korean version, but I would say Alice in Borderland is way more. I would say it's way more. I don't know. I like Alice in Borderlands. I love the games more. It was more intense. I feel like the games in Squid Games, you know, they're just kid games, right? So it's like, eh. But Alice in Borderland was like intense, man. It's very intense. But I really like season 1. Season 2, I just can't get into season 2, man. But I cannot wait for season 3. Really? Should I just keep watching Alice in Borderlands season 2 then? I just remember the guy just running around naked. You know, just running around, just killing things, like naked and stuff like that. Yes, I can't wait for. Is new season Apothecary out? Because I love it. Carrot Reed is not so. Season 3 in. Alice in Borderland coming out soon. Okay, so maybe I'll check out season 2. I'll have it because I think they do have dub. I could technically have it playing in the background. But guys, if you guys ever want to watch some trial stuff, Trial TV also streams it live as well. They stream it kind of like, well, I don't know if they changed it, but I know they stream it like Law and Crime and Court TV with no commentary. So definitely check them out as well. Because sometimes they'll have cases, like I think there was a case that they were covering that no one else was streaming. I'm trying to remember what case that was. Oh, what was it? It was the one that had like really bad audio initially, and then things got fixed up. But yeah, definitely check them out as well. Lori Vallow she just pisses me off so much. I wanted to cover Lori Vallow. She's representing herself. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, honestly, April is going to be pretty busy. I think Lori Vallow's trial happens at the end of March, which is like in a couple of days, right? Yeah, I don't know. Lori's just doing the same thing. I mean, she's just blaming Ty Lee, isn't she? Apparently, she did do an interview recently, and I was like, maybe I'll check out Lori. But like, Lori just, man, she triggers me. She triggers me. I hate Lori. Yeah, Lori's gonna be a circus. The judge hates her. I did see that she did get reamed, or maybe a little bit of a dress down because she was prepared for the hearing or some sort. It's just like, I don't know, when you're representing yourself, oh gosh, why? I know, Jen, I went on the Alexi Treviso case page, and same thing. It's just, I don't know, the Supreme Court is just figuring it out, and I don't know what's gonna happen. It's crazy. I'm scared that, I don't know. Just gotta wait for the Supreme Court, I guess, to see if they're gonna allow some major pieces of evidence. So we're all waiting for that as well. But yeah, it's been what, 2 years now? That's crazy. Wait, really? We had to delete all of our original. Wait, what? We had to delete all of our original videos. We were demonetized. Oh no. We're back mostly with a clean screen. Oh, Chris is on the screen, but he's quiet. Wait, really? You were demonetized? Why? Oh, is it because content duplication? Sometimes if your content, like before, when I used to have like the Det v. Hurt stuff, I would edit the clips without my commentary. And because YouTube's robot, when they scrub through the YouTube videos, if they see too many of like duplicative content, they just assume that you're just like reposting some stuff. So I remember YouTube didn't like that, so I had to go through my videos and I had to delete a lot of stuff. But yeah, I had to clean it up as well. Anyways, guys, so that's it for Donna Adelson. Again, guys, if you guys want, you guys can rewatch the stream, or I will have a cleaned up video and y'all can watch, because a lot happened in the Donna Adelson stuff. And then she has a hearing tomorrow. So I will do my best to edit this today, and then y'all can watch it. And then tomorrow, hopefully the hearing will be live and then we can watch it. Because, you know, Donna Adelson, she losing. Like, I don't know, man. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for her. Hey, Brian, how are you doing today? How's it going? Right? Okay, so Trial TV, yeah, same thing happened to you. Yeah, because I remember I got that email from YouTube. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then they made me film a 5-minute video basically telling them that I am not just an AI robot person, just, you know, reusing content. Yeah. So I still have that video on my YouTube channel. It's private though. But man, I remember I had to record. I was like, hey, I'm a real person. Here's my workflow. Here's all my notes. And here's how I edit my videos. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it was fun. It was very fun. And it happened in the middle of the Gwyneth Paltrow and the Terry Sanderson trial. It was when he was supposed to testify that day. And I was like, no, and I missed it. And I was like, oh gosh. And I had to go back on my own and watch it myself. So Dino, thanks. Good to be back. Yeah, guys, it was nice seeing you guys. I hope you guys have a good one. Take care. I would definitely try to keep you guys up to date with all the Donna Adelson stuff. Again, we are covering other cases as well. There's Corey Richards is just as crazy as Donna Adelson's case, okay? Just as crazy, just as wild. Yeah, Corey Richards. Who else do we have on my court schedule? Corey Richards. We are covering the Idaho 4 murders. Man, the Idaho 4 murders are... It's a lot. It's a lot to read. And I think there's probably more stuff that I have to catch up on. We're waiting for some replies. We're covering that. The Justin Bowden and the Blake stuff, I mean, I'm covering it, but it's too much. So I'm covering like selective covering, but everything just comes out every day. I don't know how people cover it like every fucking day. Maybe I could go back to doing that, but it's just a lot. It's a lot. Anyways, y'all, do live more often, please. We definitely do lives once a week. Sometimes I'll miss once a week, but I usually try to do once a week. And then sometimes if it gets really busy with like multiple cases in 1 week or like multiple hearings in 1 week, sometimes we'll do multiples. And then Karen Reed stuff has been really crazy. But honestly, with Karen Reed, a lot of the stuff I kind of just watch on my own. Sometimes I'll watch it with you guys if it's live. But I don't think I'm going to cover the Karen Reed case trial live because it's super early and I don't know. That's a maybe. But I'm definitely going to be doing Corey Richards, Donna Adelson, and, Idaho 4 when that happens in the autumn season. All right, guys. Excuse me, who are you talking to? Oh, wait, did Palermo ever answer? Did he ignore you? Oh, is he lying? Sorry, I didn't even notice. Oh, my God, look at him. I guess I just look like Allie. Girls just all look the same. All right, guys. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you guys have a good one. Take care. I will see you guys. Feel free to join the Discord. We have notifications that will go off for that as well. And then for YouTube, for notifications, you just have to do all, I guess. I don't know what personalized means. I'll look it up later on. But anyways, have your notifications on so you guys don't want to go live. Other than that, take care. Have a good one. I mean, I guess I should make a... Emily Baker does a thing where she has like scheduled live streams, which I should do. But here's the thing, like sometimes the scheduling doesn't schedule. It doesn't happen because sometimes shit pops up and I have to do something and it gets pushed back. I don't know. Maybe I should do more scheduled lives because she does that. I think it's really helpful because people get like a 12-hour notice that she's about to go live the next day. So maybe I could try to do that. We'll see. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a good one. I hope you guys take care. And what? I wish you could cover the serial killer that killed my girlfriend, Michael Gargiulo, but it's in Cook County. I haven't really covered any serial killers. He's the same one that killed Ashton Kutcher's girlfriend. What? No, I don't know anything about that. Yeah, I haven't really covered any serial killers. I know I was like keeping up with like the Gilgo Beach one, but yeah, typically the serial killer stuff, I don't know. That's a lot. I don't know if I can cover the Hollywood Ripper. Maybe because I've always wanted to do videos maybe about those, but I don't know. Usually there's like one case that really intrigues me because the accused person, I don't know. There's just something about certain cases, I guess, that draws me to it. The Hollywood Ripper. Gotcha. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys have a good one. I'm so sorry about your girlfriend at the time. I'm sorry to hear that. All right, guys. Hope you guys take care. I will see you guys later. Bye.